Uh.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome into the kickoff of Season 2 for the Affinity Racing Series Next Gen Race 1 of 13 here at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Super Speedway. Here tonight for 100 laps. Race information didn't load correctly, but I remembered off the top of my head. Here we go. 2 laps to set the grid here this evening for 100 laps. 55% fuel capacity, which will give these drivers anywhere from 20 to 25 laps. And then 3 green-white checkers, the third being the point of no return if need be, 0 fast repairs, and 4 sets of tires here this evening to challenge these drivers for 100 laps. As always, here with Art, in name only tonight. He is out sick, so it's just me up in the booth here this evening. Hope he feels better soon and look forward to seeing him back out there next week. Let's go ahead and pull a very special guest up here tonight, quickly while we get qualifying underway. Nick Kelly from the Innocent Lives Foundation will be our Season 2 charity. A great cause here this season, and I'll bring him up here and let him introduce himself and a little bit more about what the ILF is about. So let's see if we can get him up here.
And that's the...
Nick Kelly, got a copy.
Hello.
How we doing tonight? Appreciate you taking time out of your day to come talk to us.
Oh, this has been a blast. I've only talked to Michael here for a little while, but I've been watching the stream since early. Well, I've watched a bunch of the videos on the YJ Media stream. This is crazy. I might have felt like my new favorite thing to geek out about.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the kind words. We're definitely excited to have you on board. Mike told me a little bit about what you guys do, but I'll let you introduce yourself and kind of what you guys are all about.
Cool. Well, appreciate Affinity reaching out to us. So my name is Nick Kelly. I volunteer with an organization called the Innocent Lives Foundation, and we're a nonprofit. We're about a little over 5 years in business, and what we do is we are a non-vigilante organization that identifies child predators online, compiles their communications and who they're talking to and what they're doing, and then we hand that over to law enforcement.
Absolutely. You guys do some incredible work. I know that can't be easy, but definitely a fantastic cause that everyone can get behind. Sure.
Yeah, the mission is the mission. It's above everybody else. So, we say all the time, the mission is the mission and no one person is the ILF. And Michael and I were just talking. I know he's a parent, I'm a parent, and it's we lost contain on how much our children are just embroiled in technology. And it's just closer and closer to every action and interaction that they have so often now that it's, we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
I am a new father myself. He's about, I think, 6 weeks old this week, and I'd do anything for him.
Don't blink.
Absolutely. What are some of the efforts that you guys currently have in place? Like, what does the day-to-day look like? Foundation.
So we have a predator identification team, or called the PIT. And what they do is they will either have cases from an intake perspective, someone has completed a report a case form and brought that to us, or they'll do some active hunting on some parts of the web that, are famous for insidious things. But what those individuals do is we don't do anything that is, so if anybody's thinking to catch a predator, just get that out of your head right now, because we don't do that. So we don't do that for a couple of reasons. Like the vigilante approach, number one, doesn't keep our investigators safe or our volunteers or anybody associated with the organization. And then number two, a lot of times that can show the bad guys how we catch them. And so then the next guy's just going to go around it, right? So the team does investigations using what we call open source intel, or OSINT. And it's not like posing as anything. It's literally just looking at the communications that these folks are already doing. Like, what is this username? Do they have, where else have we seen this username? Have we seen those as part of a network of other known bad people? I don't want to keep saying guys because it's not just guys, but and then the rest of us do education and outreach. So we're here to make sure that parents and teachers and students and children have access to all the resources that are out there to help them stay safe. And then we regularly post about some related topics. Some folks will come out and tell their story about what happened to them when they were younger, and sometimes it's here's some advice on mental health, because the folks who work on the stuff day to day, you can imagine, it can put you in a pretty dark place.
That just sounds like a whole lot, and it's valuable work, and I'm thankful for what you guys do. What are some of the major accomplishments or things that you guys are really proud to have achieved in the last couple of years?
So we have, again, we've been out for 5 years, and we have successfully had law enforcement accept 496 cases currently.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, and the statistic that we like to educate folks on is that the average predator may impact somewhere around 5, 6, or 7 lives, but a serial predator can actually impact up to 450 kids.
150.
Yeah. It's gross, right? You're like, yeah. But that's that's why we do the work that we do. And we've been very fortunate. We have we've got a fully manned predator identification team right now. We have 34 active cases that we're working. One submitted by someone close to me last week. So I was telling Michael this got really, really real like a week ago.
Right.
Yeah. So I was very thankful that our COO was like, hey, this is a Twitch thing. You okay with going on talking about it? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is, yeah, somebody's got to get out there and be the voice. And so a lot of what we do is education and outreach. And then we let the really, really talented people do the work on the cases.
Absolutely. And then I know we set our goal for this season at roughly, I think it's $1,000. Mike, you back me up on that?
It is. Yeah, we always set it at like $1,000.
I know I think we raised $1,300 last year for our season 1 charity. What will these donations allow you guys to do moving forward?
So this is good because, we're a nonprofit. We have a really small staff, and obviously, there's some cost to keep the website up and keep the lights on and pay for the technology that the pit crew uses to, I just caught pit crew. I just caught that was a racing term, that they use to process the cases and their time also. The average cost of a case to get it from intake to hand it over for law enforcement can be up to $5,000. So we're always looking for folks who can help out. And if I can make one tiny plug, we have September 23rd in Burbank. We have the very first and largest fundraising formal event we've ever done. We actually have a gala, or a gala depending on who you talk to on the team. That is the End Child Exploitation Gala, and it is our host is LeVar Burton. So that's going to be a pretty wild event.
Sounds like some exciting stuff coming up in the pipelines, and definitely glad that we can help out in any small way. I know I've already put a little bit in there towards you guys. Absolutely an amazing cause. I appreciate you, Michael McElroy, the league owner in here as well, putting this together for us.
Yeah, man. Anytime, dude. Appreciate what you guys do as well.
Yeah, so anybody who's got any questions, innocentlivesfoundation.org. The resources page is there. The blog is there. Any of the statistics, you can get our impact report, which we put out every year, to get a little more in depth of what we do and how many cases we've turned in and all. It's interesting to see. I think the first year it might have been 5. So just to give you an idea how quickly we've grown with recognizing the need for this type of organization that's out there. And like I told Michael, I'm on the Discord server. So if there's questions that anybody has at any point in time, absolutely here to help answer and get somebody connected with ILF if they need to be.
We'll definitely appreciate your time here this evening, and looking forward to seeing you hopefully stick around for the races as well, and just looking forward to working with you guys for Season 2. It's sure to be a good one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm going to have a good time watching the race tonight. I know that.
Looking forward to it. Appreciate it. And maybe we'll get you back in here. We'll definitely have you back in here for updates, hopefully.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
That was, again, Nick Kelly from the Innocent Lives Foundation, our Season 2 charity. Yeah, but as we see here, Thomas Green in the background, he is going through. I know there are storms pretty much along the entire East Coast, and more of that as well. So we'll see who's able to be here tonight. I know Nick Miller was complaining about some connection issues, but it definitely is widespread this evening for a lot of the country. So we'll just deal with it the best that we can. But that was amazing time there with Kelly. The work that they do, not easy, but somebody has to do it in a voice for the voiceless. Absolutely love the work. Proud to be partnered with him too. He was the only one on track, Bagley. We had nobody else, so he'll probably be going to the back quickly. So we'll go ahead and settle in here. Just me in the booth tonight for Daytona. It's gonna be difficult to see all the action, but we will do our very best. But here for Season 2, got the promotion relegation system in place. Next Gen's always on Monday night. The next up series will be Wednesday nights. And there you can see the future of the Affinity Racing Series Next Gen as they try and work their way up through and earn themselves a spot into the Monday night show. So looking forward to that. And that'll be on twitch.tv/raceaffinity and raceaffinity.com. Looking forward to that kicking off on Wednesday nights. That was originally the Truck Series. Let's go ahead real quick right before we get started. I believe we have links in the chat post. Here we go. This will be the permanent stream link, donation link for the Lives Foundation. That's where you can donate to all their hard efforts, and you need to see that organization do some great things. Joshua McQuiggan puts it on poll here this evening. The 29 machine. Let's quickly take a look at your starting grid here. We grid up here. Beats Justin Johnson by 3 1/1000ths of a second. Drew Drouin rounds out its podium qualifying positions by 12/100ths of a second, all the way down to Jonathan Daly just inside of 3/10. Everyone else electing not to qualify, start at the back at a super speedway might not be the worst idea. All the way down, I believe it is Daniel Pendergrass, 29 here tonight. We've thinned the field slightly from last season, but these are the best of the best that made it through. Looking forward to seeing what they could do this season, and hopeful to see some of the young guns make their way up and get promoted back in. Special shout out to Tenel Galvin Racing, Tenel Galvin eSports for sponsoring tonight's race in naming sponsorship. Trinity PC and Jonathan Daly for coming on board for the season-long sponsorship. See them there, in the bottom right of your screen. Amazing work, so glad that they came on board. Field gets ready to head off here. Any other minor announcements? Any changes? A couple of new teams this season forming: TTSL Motorsports, Yenner Autosports, Skirbo Motorsports 59. A couple of new teams entering this season. YJ Media Motorsports. Got some couple of new drivers there on our side of things as well. First of them will be where are they all at? Randy Arms on pit road. Ryan Tiller's one of them. The 23 machine, you've seen him a bunch. Casey Brown, you'll love to see it. Here's Alex Chira. TTSL Motorsports. Some new teams, familiar faces. It's sure to be the same great racing here. If you remember last season, Thomas Green won the Daytona opener. A thrilling finish. Drew Juwan was in control with fillers for much of the evening. Lights are out on top of the pace car. 100 laps, fuel run, roughly about a quarter of the run. 25 laps, we'll see how it works out. Excited to get Season 2 started, got big things in the works. Laps, and I get to do it all by myself. Justin Johnson. Looks like McQuiggan took an EOL, actually, so we'll shake up with the running order there. That'll put Zach Amon on pole from row number 2. Already 3 cars on the inside, hooked up nose to tail. James Jimmy Fillers and Nick Miller, your Season 1 champion. Just to get organized. Ready 2 by 2, getting organized further back. Guys drop it to the back. I believe that is Magnus Anderson in the 7 machine, dropping to the rear of the field, trying to stay out of harm's way. And a beautiful looking number 7 Toyota Camry. Unlucky 30-second ad break. We won't run it for another hour. I tried to delay it, did not. So we cut over the interview with our charity organization. But yeah, that's a Fox move there. I apologize. Give the Innocent Lives Foundation their time. As little as possible. You can support the stream, obviously, by subscribing. No ads there, so everything works out. But already on the first lap, Brandon French up 6 spots. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle there from Zach Amon off the bumper of Fillers. Nick Miller pushing hard as well. Further back, Kevin Boley in the 99. He's up 9 spots. William Bowman, his teammate. There is Joshua McQuiggan in the brand new 29 machine. The Yenner Autosport team. Strong signing there. Your pole sitter who dropped to the back. Looks like we have, that's Sartaj Mann, who's so good at these plate tracks coming out of pit road. Randy Arms was never able to take the green flag, apparently. And all of this excitement on race number 1, Jarrett Talmadge to the race lead. And there are just so many heavy hitters up in front of this field, and even further back. Fastest lap of the race was set by Thomas Green, whose connection looks to have stabilized, so he'll be a heavy hitter as the night continues. But Talmadge works so well with his teammate Thomas Green. That's what we saw for Season 1 Daytona months ago. Bowers and Fillers work well together. They like to go to the front. There's a move down to the inside. And French kind of caught in no man's land that he'll pick up back in that outside lane. Drew Drouin was definitely in the mix, got wrecked on the back straightaway last season running the Publix Atlanta Braves scheme. I love that. Absolutely gorgeous paint schemes here tonight under the lights. I believe that is Magnus Anderson. He dropped all the way out of the main pack, so he says not going to worry about it yet. Sartaj Mann, the only car a lap down, is going to be hoping for a little bit of chaos, get himself back in contention. A lot calmer. These guys have raced around each other for a whole season, so we're not surprised by this. A little bit of wiggling here, but that's to be expected. Nothing crazy. Almost looks like we have two different apologies, as me and Art talk about. You got guys wanting to force the issue, and then Kyle Ritchie going to lead the second one, single file, and they're just trying to log laps and get to the end. No fast repairs. Ooh, and that was dangerous from French and Talmadge, just as we're saying that. It ended in calamity for the K1 Speed machine. Looks like French might be one of the ones that's wiggling around the racetrack, getting a little squirrely the most. Look at this Battle for the lead. It looks like that inside line was forming up, and all of a sudden it's now the outside. Hunter Rupp leads for the first time this season in the double zero. Justin Johnson, right where he started. Oh, there's going to be contact further back. It's Talmadge. Brandon Bowers hard into the outside wall. Yellow is out immediately. They were doing a whole lot of lane switching. Magnus Anderson, Fillers, one of the contenders, down outside the top 25. That's teammates, both Jughead cars. Take a look here at what happened to the 10 and the 11. It's right around the Jarrett Talmadge, Brandon French area. I don't know if French was involved, but let's take another look. It was him, Drew Joie, Brandon Bowers. Let's back this up. Take another look as they entered turn number 1. So it looks like Drew actually had come up just a tiny bit. Like a miscommunication on space. They were swapping lines pretty heavy. But let's take a look here at what the 4 machine did from the whodunit camera angle, the far chase, old reliable. But yeah, that inside line lost all the momentum. Outside line was serving. Check out Drew tries to go up. French and Jarrett Talmadge coming down. We're stuck in the middle. Brandon Bowers to the outside retaining wall, Fillers, and really that should have been worse, but it's not. Glad everybody's okay. That could have taken out some of our contenders very early on. Glad to see that it didn't. Let's go on board here. There's only 3 cars involved. Good checking up from everyone further back in this field. Well done. Oh, except for Thomas Green, but that's simply due to a connection issue. And he is still struggling there. More often than not, these super speedway wrecks we've seen just simply down to that miscommunication of space. Someone's going up, someone's coming down. You don't know you're 3 wide. It puts you in the outside retaining wall. Looks like Steven Valdala is going to try and stay out and lead a lap. Very early into the fuel run, tires not necessarily the most important thing, but he'll have to go on another lap. Get that bonus point. Everybody coming down. Top it off with Sunoco Racing Fuel. Johnson wins the race off pit road over Hunter Rupp. Here comes everybody else. Everyone did a nice job slowing down for that wreck. Like I said, this is the top of the top. Oh, we have a spin on pit road. Magnus Anderson goes around. Take a look at what happened to the 7 machine. He was way at the back of the field. And he was trying to get into his stall. The 9 machine of Alex Chira was leaving. That's one thing you find yourself at a disadvantage of, is out of sync with guys around you pit-wise. Go on board here with the 9. See him just take fuel. Only he is out. By that time, Magnus, who was all the way at the back of the field, has to come in and pit. But no big damage there. A little bit hurt pride, but plenty of time to get back into this. That was a great caution for Sartaj Man. And back down, I believe, just 1. Our leaders. Lights are still on the pace car. Let's go do some mid-race interviews. What do we got here tonight? Let's go talk to the sponsor of tonight's race. Here with the Tenold Galvin Racing boys. How we doing tonight?
We are rocking and rolling.
You're alive still.
Yeah, it looks like it was a pretty tame first 6 laps. Just a slight miscommunication at the front. No big damage. Everyone survives. But what's the strategy tonight for the TGR boys?
Survive.
Patience.
Yeah, patience leads to us surviving. We want to be there at the end. These 99 out of the 100 laps don't matter. The last one is the only one that counts. And that's the approach that we're taking.
Well, we know that you guys run well here at the plate track specifically. We know Jonathan Dolly got himself a win at Talladega a couple of seasons ago. You yourself, Tenold, won a season opener at Daytona on this channel. So we know you guys know how to be there at the end. And looking forward to seeing what you guys can do if we can get to crunch time.
For sure, it's going to be interesting at the end if we can make it there. That's the
Oh, yeah.
prayer.
Apparently-
Dolly, you're on the high side, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, got you on our picture-in-picture this season. The wave to the audience
Oh, yeah.
out there.
Oh, hello. There you go. There you go. Look at them wearing them. Oh, he's got the whole decked out gear.
I
Look at
got
his,
everything, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
getting
Got the
decked out.
wheel sponsored in the decals. It's official. Look at that.
We just need a monster logo right here on the
On the-
shifter. That'd
yeah.
be perfect
Oh, we'll get one in for you on the broadcast.
for sure. We'll have to have Simone bring one.
See there in the rig you built. Seen some pictures of that. So
It is
a little
it's
envious of
comfortable.
that. Can't lie. Yeah.
Look, the best part is it has air conditioning, has a
Oh
fan.
my- there you go. That's needed.
See, now that's the most unrealistic part about this.
You gotta drive like it's 104-degree heat index like the real guys.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
you take the AC when you get the time.
Exactly. Hey, some of the new construction machines have air conditioning.
So
I don't wanna hear.
But I appreciate your
Alrighty.
time, fellas. Always appreciate coming on board for sponsoring. This is 2 years in a row, 2 seasons in a row for the season opener. So always appreciate that.
Yep.
We'll talk to you a little bit later.
For sure. We'll see you later. Hopefully.
See you guys
Hopefully
again,
we'll see you
hopefully.
later. And hopefully we're in a good mood. So
Hopefully. Back to the green flag. Steven Valdala, a little bit down on fuel strategy compared to the others, but obviously at a plate race can and will happen, so he's just banking on another yellow. Come down and pit with everybody. All 28 cars that took the green flag still on the racetrack. 27 on the lead lap. Gotta have the picture-in-picture. In its beta stages. We've got a lot of ideas that we're trying to implement. They're halfway there. I'll show you. We'll hide the baby one. Get rid of that. Just it's a working. So we got that. Nice little more information. And now we got to figure out how to get that number down in size. So we're working on it. I promise. It'll be high quality. Stick with the baby driver details for now. 4-car breakaway at the front almost, as it's Justin Johnson out front with Hunter Rupp and Max Urek teammates here, so they might want to go to the front. Nick Miller as well, Season 1 champion in thrilling fashion, signed for triracial racing. They're side by side behind them. Here comes Jacob Blakely. The 5-car now. Like he's handling just fine with those older tires. Jonathan Dolly looks like he might be wanting to go to the front. Brandon French, Valdala up high. Dolly now down to the inside. Taking it easy after that lap 6 crash. Don't want to be out of it. It's going. Obviously going to be those that want to lead, stay up front. Dolly, like one of those drivers. If you're in first, you have a slightly direct. It looks like you'd be going around in front of the entire field. What's your risk tolerance? If you're sitting out in 25th, you risk not catching the pack and going green the whole way. If you sit 15th, you're right in the middle, everything get wrecked. In first, you get spun in front of the entire field. So there's dangers everywhere on these plate tracks. Pole sitter, Long started third. They're kind of just hanging out. Magnus Anderson obviously got spun on pit road. And even between teammates, it's a little bit different. You see Tenold all the way back down in the 24th position. Jonathan Dolly up in the top 5, battling for the race lead. The plate racing varies greatly. He's going to lead that outside line. Justin Johnson does it first. We're going to be a strong challenge here. Looks like we got 5 and 5. Johnson with a slight nose ahead. Inside line starting really a 10-car break to the Jughead boys, Bowers and Fillers. And then Jarrett Talmadge just trying to get this second group organized. Looks like a lot of second guys coming out anyways. It's kind of back and forth. Zach Almond and Drew Joie, they were on the bottom side of the racetrack. Back up top, maybe they think they can get the second group organized. at the front. 10 cars. Garrett Talmadge is 1.2 seconds back. Let's go on board here with him. You can just get some good pushes behind Case and Brown and Quiggin. They will catch up. As those front 10 side by side will slow each other down ever so slightly, but they're getting pretty organized except for the Jughead boys trying to go to the front. We know they are very good at this play style of racing and use the tandem draft very effectively. They're actually going to lose a couple of tenths here. I think I have an idea why. It's because they are now side by side with those 3 cars that we mentioned earlier. If they can make this a little bit better, hard right to the front of the second group, so I tend to agree with them. And here are the CMS boys, who are very committed to their strategy. Pinder, Travis DeLeon, and William Bowman. Just ride around, wait for some pit stops, and try and avoid the carnage. 15 laps into this thing. Like Brandon French is getting shuffled out. We got 2 single file groups chasing each other, 2 different trains. French will slot in to be the caboose. They are 1.3 seconds for this second group. Gear windows anywhere from 20 to 25 laps. Stephen Valbala will anybody. He does have that one to help him out. Now we're getting into this very passive point of the race. Nick Miller happy to sit in second and just push Dustin Johnson, his teammate, around. Hunter Rupp and Max push each other around. Dolly doesn't have his teammates with him, so he's just going to sit there. Teammates and Bowers and Fillers, and then Valdala. Brandon French just happy to kind of tag along for the ride inside the top 10. Go on board here with Zach Almond. They are 1 second now. They caught and drafted this first group, so now we'll see how aggressive they want to be when they get there. Imagine since they jumped the line to get to the front of the second group, they will want to go ahead and take the race lead if possible. Move all over the back bumper. We're nearly 200 miles into turn number 3. Further back here, this goes back to 19. You can see this train with Magnus Anderson as its caboose, and then even further back, Kyle Ritchie, Veldich, Alex Chira, Daniel Pendergrass, and Thomas Green in their third pack, and then you mentioned the CMS boys hanging out here in Bobby. Here we go, they caught this main pack. Drew and back on, and they actually got him through the rest of the pack. They're going to go outside, and that's going to get the lines moving again. Miller to the point for the first time tonight. Hours involved in the lap 6 wreck. He's working with his teammate outside. And we know those two can execute a tandem draft better than anyone. And at the line, it would be Brandon Bowers at the ball. The approach lap number 20. Crank it up here for the first time tonight for season 2. Made it pretty nicely through that crank it up. No jinx there. Now Zach Almond leading the race. Max Urek time to take it from him anyways. That That did not last long. He's hooked up with his teammate on the inside. Teammates on the outside as well. A little bit loose there off turn number 4 for Amon. Got a heck of a shove from Nick Miller. Now the teammate's going to control both lines. Let's see what everyone behind them does in response. So this is them trying a colleague level move, but Brandon Bauer says, I'm going to push you so far out in front that I myself can get clear, drop down to the inside, or you'll be forced to pick up your teammate. And I'm going to just keep pushing you, forcing you to make a decision. And Nick Miller says, thank you, I've had enough. Now that definitely checks up that outside lane. Justin Johnson, drop out of dodge here. Andrew Tennell. And again, just give you this picture right here. Show you the up-to-speed movements. He's right behind Justin Johnston. Go on board here with Tennell to give you the as realistic view of it as we can. Right behind our other picture-in-picture driver, Justin Johnson in the 33 machine. They're pretty steady on the wheel for Tennell. Just minding his business, riding the double yellow line. Let's go with a shot here from Justin Johnson. Well, a little different angle, obviously, but he is unbothered. You got the Atlanta United shirt in the background. Great taste in MLS teams. He's having a good time tonight. Monday night, start of the work week for a lot of people, but start of season 2 for the Affinity Racing Series. It's definitely a good race so far, and finding himself inside the top 10 doing a nice job. Quarter of the way through this race, and really can't really say that anyone has been the dominant quality working pretty well together. Nick Miller and Zach Amon and the Jughead boys, but no one has really dominated the race like we saw last season when Bourgeois and Fillers are working so well together. This could be the pairing so far. Amon and Miller, they seem to be working together the most with those Jughead boys. Nick Miller in our pre-race talk to us said that those storms were a little bit inconsistent with the power, but we are 3 wide for the race lead. Amon split. Nowhere for him to go. Drew Joie going to come to his aid, though. Outside line, just the Jughead boys, and that got a little dicey. Almost had a car go below the apron as well. Things are picking up as we get further and further into the fuel run. Thomas Green, last season's Daytona winner, has to drop to the back due to those connection issues. You see him sparking all over the place. He's trying to get some points out of this if he can at the moment, but right now that connection not allowing him to compete like we thought they would. So far, the biggest mover is, in fact, your race leader in Max Jurek. Help from his teammate. They're working very nice together as well. A lot of 2-car tandems at the moment. Don't have a whole team up front just yet. But our boys back here in the 5 and the 23. Rocking some killer paints made by Andrew Tennell himself and bringing our creative vision to life, so appreciate that. Absolutely gorgeous looking race cars. Randy Arms and Simo Demien also on our team this season. Randy not able to start. He was in voice chat just a couple of minutes before the race, so not sure what happened with the power issue, but good to see him back next week. As Drew Joie will lead for the first time here this evening. Oh, and Justin Johnson gonna get a shot from your wreck. What a save. Down the back straightaway. Somehow we stay green. No idea how they hung onto that race car. Would have loved to see the picture there. are working lap 27. Steven Valdala is starting to sweat this a little bit. As he actually has already made his pit stop, and all of that commotion, he had to come pit lap 25. So even with the caution, it's going to be tough to run the full 25 laps. So keep that in mind as the field is rapidly approaching 3 wide. Just so many heavy hitters. We see some of these guys Friday night for Rock Car Super Speedway League and occasionally Tuesday night LSRL, and every time we go to a play track, it's these names up at the front. Only 3 cars on the outside, though. A couple of guys still struggling with the issues. Widespread tonight with the massive storms across the East Coast, but everyone's making the most of it. Valdala going to hold his line. That's going to check up the inside line big time. And this could lead to some problems. Having to go 3 wide. They caught him in mid-corner. He didn't want to chuck it down on the apron. Now he'll get out of the way. They just caught him at a bad spot there. And the field will mostly make it through intact. Couple of side-by-side mid-pack here with the wreck dropping out of line. Nick Miller hung out to dry. And it looks like they're getting ready for potentially around the green flag pit stops here in the next handful of laps. So that's why we see some single file here. Second group, not a whole lot of bickering about who should lead this line. It's been Jarrett Talmadge being pushed by Casey Brown for most of this second stint after Bourgeois and Almond took themselves up to the front. Second group content with their strategy. Only 1.4 seconds behind, so they could make that up on pit stops. And then 22nd on back is the CMS boys and Thomas Green. Like, potentially Bourgeois. Yeah, he was blinking in and out. Valdala, who doesn't have to pit again, but this second group, they are reeling them back in. Right as green flag pit stops are about to start, looks like Brandon French going to be pulling the trigger, but no one going with him. They have the lap car of Valdala. He might fall back here a little bit. And the CMS boys are in with Thomas Green in tow. They are sticking to their strategy, not even worried about it. Good entrance for all of them. See them here on pit road. Gonna have to leave together, though. Want to make sure you're hooked up in the draft. Looks like Bowman is out first. And the rest of them will fall in line. That's the beauty of teammates. You can call out when you're pitting. See if anyone has any desire to pit here. Here comes the lead pack. Who's going to risk it and try and make up some spots? Looks like everybody's coming in. And they're all going to make it. Second group definitely made up some progress there. Well done. That is everybody else, and the CMS boys are going to be trying to get hooked up here. Down the back straightaway so far, not able to do so. It's like Magnus Anderson, I think he might have missed his box. Definitely did. As everybody else is leaving, looks like long stops for McQuiggan, and I believe that is Jarrett Talmadge, but everyone is away. Yeah, Talmadge will get dropped here. Everyone tries to get back up to speed. Goes Max Jurek. That should be a penalty. Definitely, I don't know how he would avoid that unless someone ran him off the road. Let's take this back a little bit. How did he end up on the racing surface? He just carried too much speed, caught the apron, and slid up the hill. That definitely should be a penalty. Coming the 6's way, 3-car group here. It's going to be so important to get back up to speed. Magnus Anderson might be out of field. It looks like it for the 7. There is Sartan. This definitely shook up the running order again. Back to 8th. Dolly all by himself. Bowers and Tennell working together. As Fillers is still up inside that lead pack. The first green flag pit stops of the season. Guys like Justin Johnson, 33 seconds on pit lane. Total time, 33. Come out ahead of guys like Bowers, who were on pit lane for 37 seconds, 35. Axurek is going to have to serve that penalty for unsafe pit exit. That'll hurt. He'll have to leave his teammate. Thin the herd down to 7. These guys can just stay organized. They can kind of control this race a little bit, especially as this second group continues to argue about who should lead. First group, 1 through 7, and just as we say that, that's Brandon French, I believe. And Magnus Anderson, so guys going to continue to blend in after not hitting their box correctly, or there's a couple guys definitely off sequence here. 7 against 1, that works pretty much every time, but they're getting pretty racy even with 7 cars. A little squirm there through the tri-oval. Jacob Blakely gonna try the caboose here, but it looks like it'll be Hunter Rupp instead of the lead lap cars. Obviously Magnus Anderson not for position at the moment. So now we have 8 cars in this pack. There's Brandon French staying high out of the way. It looks like the second group's going to get organized. Urek's going to miss this pack. That's really going to hurt his race. But 1 through 7. And then 8. 17 is the second group. 18 through 22 is the third group. Pendergrass got left by his teammates. Thomas Green, his issues have been well documented. Magnus missed his box. Axurek penalty, and Sartaj Mann has been a lap down after not starting the race with the rest of everybody. That is the field as they run here. Over the way into the TGR eSports 250. And way up top, no help for him there. Front group, really, you've established yourselves as the favorites, the odds-on favorites, third of the way into the race. All you got to do, get single file and let the guys behind you lead the pack to try and chase you down. Don't have to do a whole lot. Don't overthink it. Just continue to excel on your green flag pit stops and hope no one behind you wrecks. You could settle it amongst 7 cars here. If you're Jacob Blakely, got your teammate inadvertently behind you in Magnus Anderson with Yenner Autosport. So you got to feel pretty good about that. Bourgeois, no teammates with him, but he worked well with fillers last year and looks like it's happening again. Hunter Rupp, 00. That pit road penalty. Justin Johnson, Zach Allman, and Nick Miller might be the 3 to keep an eye out, though. They make up the rest of this field for tri-racial racing. Here, the gap starting to come down now as they got organized. We have a crank it up redemption in chat. We'll definitely honor that. Not a whole lot of racing going on, so might as well hear the noise of these cars. second group starting to get a little antsy here. We got guys pulling out of line. Looks to be the 76 of Kyle Ritchie with Dylan Failvich in tow. And the 9 machine of Alex Chira that they want to see if they can get a better handle on this second group and drive them up to the front. I will say, though, Bowers is making slow and steady progress. They were quicker last lap, so I don't know why guys feel like they're not doing enough. They have it under 5 seconds, and this should... Well, as long as they say single file, wasn't a whole lot of squabbling there. They just kind of went right around them. Bowers will fall back to pretty much the tail end of this pack. Now the Tennell Galvin boys are together. Tennell was way at the back, and Dolly was up front, but they kind of met in the middle here. Bowers going all the way back. Gotta be careful not to lose this pack. Shake up at the front as Nick Miller gets around Drew. Take a quick look at how he did that. Picked up Magnus Anderson. Pushed him in front. Then dropped down in front of Drew. Pretty nifty move there, and Magnus will appreciate it as he is on the lead lap. Standard racing rules in effect here. No wave yourself around like Friday night, so Magnus will want to defend this position as much as he can. Because there are more guys caught out of sequence. Not want them going a lap down and taking the lucky dog from you. Right now, it's all about getting to that second cycle of green flag pit stops. And look at that, just like we mentioned, that's going to be Daniel Pendergrass going a lap down. And he is hoping Magnus Anderson stays in front of the 19 because he is the lucky dog. But if Magnus is behind the 19, then he is the lucky dog. Pendergrass has to wait for another opportunity. Everybody, minus that first group of the CMS boys, pitted on lap 30. And Magnus 31 after missing his box. But that'll get us right to lap 50-ish or so, give or take a couple of laps. Also probably why Nick Miller is fine being here. He's going to save a little bit of fuel. Having to run wide open at the complete front of the pack. Second car in line. He's able to save. But everyone doing a very nice job of being calm, cool, and collected. There's still plenty of racing left. And the second group is continuing to make small inroads. And they will pick up more cars. There's Thomas Green and Daniel. They're going to add more energy into their group here in a handful of laps to try and track down the leaders. You're slowly starting to get a little worried, though. If you're anyone outside of the top 17, because you're getting at least rugged to the first pack, but you know, if you're Bowers, you're back here now with this third pack. You got guys that are fighting for lucky dogs, and you're kind of out of sync. Where you probably wanted to be nearing the halfway point of this race. They are being very clean right now. This is a pure strategy move here. If you can eliminate your direct competitors, get to that last round of green flag pit stops and everyone comes out A-OK, then you could very well be racing for the win with 6 competitors, 3 of which are your teammates. And you would take those odds at a plate race after 100 laps of racing all day, twice on Sunday. It is still 7 cars in this lead group with Magnus Anderson leading them. Just, he's got to love it though. He's going to have a group to pit with, and he's going to be on the lead lap if a caution were to come out. Going to be here in the next 5 laps, depending on how everyone wants to view this. The longer you can go, the safer you kind of get yourself. If you want to try and stretch for 25, you have to get up to lap 50 and then 75, and then hope there's no caution at the end of this thing. Go on board here again with Kyle Ritchie as they are starting to make inroads. Finally, they picked up grass. I believe Thomas Green as well, so more cars add to their group. Even though he's blinking, he'll add a little bit of energy. Just ever so slightly. French still not able to hang on to a pack, so he's fallen off again. But the gap is now down to 3.4 seconds. And they are forcing the issue right before this second round of green flag pit stops. Doing a nice job. 3 seconds. Last lap for Jacob Blakely, a 47.43. Last lap for Kyle Ritchie, a 46.62. So 0.8 of a second faster. They would even catch them almost before green flag pit stop if they can keep up this pace. And it looks like they're doing so. Another half a second gain here. Gap now down to 2.5 and dropping. Got a driver update redemption here for YJ Media Motorsports. Highest running of them at the moment is Casey Brown, who started in the 23rd position. Currently runs in the second group. 12, Ryan Tiller started. He's up 8 spots, working well with his teammate. Continuing him, not here this week, and Randy Arms lost power right before we went green. That's an update on the YJ Media boys. Keeping the car clean and keeping our repair costs low, so appreciate it. They're doing a nice job. Gap is now down to 2 seconds, and if they catch them right as green flag pit stop started, it's going to be chaos, and we're going to see guys trying to get all they can get. This 88 machine, Dylan Failvich, doing an excellent job of pushing Kyle Ritchie to the front. I mean, this is 8th and 9th place, so they're doing a nice job all by themselves, but they're not in contention for the win at the moment. Steven Valdala going to have to come in, because he's on a completely different strategy than everyone else. He stayed out on the first caution to get a bonus point, and he has been off sequence ever since. So he pitted, and then everyone else came in just a couple of laps behind him. Gap is now 1.8 seconds. It only adds to the encouragement of the drive once you see that target in your windshield getting bigger and bigger. Last lap for Jacob Blakely, a 47.46. Last lap for Kyle Ritchie, a 46.97 quicker again. There goes Valdala, not a factor at the moment. He will most likely go use the lucky dog spot here to Thomas Green. He will. Gap now down to 1.2 seconds. Even if they pit this lap, you can effectively say they've made it. Like we said last time, you can make up this gap on pit stops if you're a little aggressive on entry and exit. No time to get complacent now. The question is, how much longer can the 76 go on fuel? He's been leading this line hard pretty much the entire run. He will have burned out more fuel than the guys behind him. But he might have to bite the bullet. He'll probably have some guys sympathetic to him for even getting them back in contention. Gap is now 9/10 of a second. They have caught the draft of the lead group, and they timed it perfectly. That was a very impressive drive from them. 5.5 seconds back, and they slowly clawed it back over the course of the run. 8/10 of a second, now 7. They are there. Wonderful work by the 76-88. The rest of the guys as well for staying in line and trusting the process. See there, guys getting a little squirrely in that front pack. They know they've been caught. What does the second group do that they are there? Who's going to be the first to get the psychology definitely changes when you now have 15 guys running for the win. Again, the second group going to pit together. Bauer is so aggressive on the entry. He doesn't need to be. That's 3 guys here. Bowers, DeLeon, and Pinder. William Bowman did not pit with the rest of his teammates because he's in a separate pack. But no one in that second group thought about it because it was so close to the stops. It could be this lap. And the whole second group's going to take the advantage. Maybe not. Just the 3 that were working together. The 76, 88, and 9. The top 3 that burned a little bit more fuel. We'll see how quickly they can get formed up. Jonathan Dolly coming in with Thomas Green. That's an interesting decision. He had his teammate with him. We expect the rest of the lead group in this time. Bye. They head down the back straightaway. There goes the CMS boys. We'll get back on the lead lap, but terms, because it's a fuel-only stop, they will not have enough time to catch back up. Exit turn number 4. They actually go another lap, so different strategy here for this group, and Logan is the only man on pit road with Thomas Green. But yeah, they're actually able to go a little bit longer than I thought they would. They stretched it out a little bit. That could potentially explain them giving up 5 seconds over the course of a run. They were saving a little bit of fuel, trying to make this a guaranteed one-stop race. After this, they get to lap 75 and they're good to go. That's definitely the strategy game, guys. Blending back in, though. Be careful. In single file, just gotta know that things are about to heat up a little bit. Magnus Anderson, he's gonna go another lap. He's not pitting with the lead group. He's gonna try and do it himself, but everybody else is in. Looks like they all did a nice job, all the way down to Kevin Boley. Second group. Magnus Anderson again having trouble on pit road. He's got to back it up. This is not the night that he would have expected down pit lane. It's supposed to be one of the safest parts of the racetrack. And who's going to win the race off of pit road? Like James Jimmy Fillers is. Good work on pit lane from him. Everybody else trying to get back up to speed. But here is the group that's already back up. These 3 guys that pitted together did a nice job getting hooked up quickly. Don't know how much it's going to be worth, though, because they only are 3 cars. We'll pick off Kevin Boley. They're back roughly right where they pitted from, right inside the top 10. But gonna have to catch these guys. It looks like they will. Again, we'll take a look here. 5 cars battling up front. Wigan and Zach Alman and Hunter Rupp trying to catch up. Miller's with an aggressive move. He wants to get in line and get in draft. He'll do so. Blakely a little bit unstable there. Looks like now still 7 cars. Alman is in the pack. Hunter Rupp will make it. I think we're back to 7 again. It's almost going to be an exact repeat of the last time. Kyle Ritchie leading a second group, going to have to get it organized. They'll pick up Hunter Rupp here in a couple of laps. Problem is they lost more cars. They lost guys like Kevin Boley, who's in no man's land. Magnus Anderson not helping the front group, so that's kind of a wash. Dolly and DeLeon. Bowers kind of out of the mix. We'll see if this second group can do it again. They have only 6 cars. It'll be 7 once they catch Hunter Rupp. And if I'm Hunter, I drop back quickly, trying to get organized. Right now, it's a 7-car breakaway, just like the last time. You guys clearly have practiced this during the week. They're doing a nice job on and off of pit road. Who's getting them out? Looks like 9 to 11 seconds for everybody. I believe tires to be a factor. I've seen guys take 2, though. I thought they'll take 4 even. But here's where we're at. Hunter Rupp caught. Richie going to continue that charge. 00 will fall in and try and help these guys get back up to the lead pack. The gap will be right at 5 seconds again, so they did it once before. And they do it again. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is a 7-on-7 with at least 1 more green flag pit stop to come. And I don't know if you're going to save as much if you're this front 7. You might be willing to risk it. Because lap 75 is that target mark. This has been a fascinating race, not what we normally expect from the ARS plate races. We normally see races 3x3 and just kind of holding our breath, but this time it's strategy and working together on a pit road. Top 14 is where it's at. Everyone else trying to get organized. And we got some heavy hitters back in the field that we didn't normally expect to see. Bowers especially. Jonathan Dolly, the Talladega winner last season. Garrett Talmadge, he was up front, got cycled out on the first stop. Magnus Anderson has been hit on pit road twice. The CMS boys know how to work together very well, and they're pretty much sticking to it, but they haven't got their chance to get caught back up to the field. Sartaj Man started a lap down and hasn't had a chance to get caught back up. Max Urek, a penalty put him out of contention. Thomas Green, heavy connection issues have set him back as he's just kind of driving around. And Brandon French, he had to pit by himself twice, and he lost the main pack, so go another lap down. All 28 cars that started this race still out on track. You love to see it. No DNFs, no crash damage. I'll tell you what, though, these cars, like you said, the pink, purple, fuchsia, there are some massively talented painters. And we got great-looking race cars. Those are teammates, by the way, bump drafting through the middle of turn 3 and 4. That was a heck of a shot. But you got teammates first and second and 7th. And you have Drew and slightly together. Jacob Blakely kind of doing his own thing, as is McQuiggan. And Nick Miller looks like he's going to. That was by design. Looks like they're trying to. This is a strategy call here. Guys are trying to figure out if they want to save fuel or not. Don't want to be leading the line. This squabbling, though, is exactly what the second group wants. They have actually lost time, though. They are 5.5 back, so half a second loss since it's been 7 on 7. Their group just mind their P's and Q's. You don't want to be the guy that brings out a caution. Brandon French, this second group might be worth picking him up. I know they've kind of just been driving around him. Yeah, Nick Miller, he purposely gave up the lead. To go back and save fuel. Let's take a look here at what was going on. It was right after that pushing we were talking about. And this, I mean, you can just see the speed difference. They get up and out of the way. And they're going to try and get to that lap 75 target mark. But Drew goes up. He's, you know, they want to save fuel. Nick Miller, I mean, he's back in the lead anyways, so. Looks like McQuiggan had an issue, and he's going to lose the main pack. So all this infighting, and that's going to shake up. What happened to McQuiggan? Working with Jacob Blakely. Oh, that was a weird one. Quite understand what that was all about. I think he was just trying to get in line, realized that there was no hole, and then there you go, you lost the pack. That's going to be huge for this group. That's going to be a strong car to try to get them back up in contention. And even more shenanigans in this front pack, so you can go ahead and say hello, second group. You are now in contention. Not sure what all this is about. Looks like Zach Almond gets pushing the pusher there and sends the 33 sideways. They almost right rears fillers, but these guys are all of a sudden trying to save fuel and getting a little cute about it. They're getting each other sideways, cycling each other out. And now it's a 3-car breakaway, 4. I mean, they're all spread out. And here's the second pack. I mean, you know, they're 1 second behind 6th, half a second. I mean, they're going to be here in a couple of laps. And this second group, they are just staying the course, and they are being very consistent. The aggressive when they need to be on the pushes, but they're not overdoing it. And so now we're definitely about to see a reconsolidation. This will be 14 cars once they all get caught up. That's got to be frustrating if we were that top 7. You felt like you had a gift, and now it's squandered away. And they got to do, though, is make sure they get around them cleanly. Don't start going side by side. Just make sure you clear them. They'll fall in line and work with you. Try and jump up. Kyle Ritchie now 3 seconds behind, only 3 cars, so they will get there. Yellow is out. Magnus Anderson has crashed, and we're going to have a lot more than 14 cars here, as this has completely changed the complexion of this race. Kevin Boley also involved. Let's take a look. Not too sure what that was all about. From the 7 machine. Looks like he just goes down there and gets him. Right up to into the outside wall there. What happened to Justin Johnson? This is after the yellow. We had just turned off of this, and we said just be careful getting back into the pack. What in the world? And his day is done. The engine is blown. I have no words for that. Yeah, the RPMs dropped right. I mean, it looked like a lurch, but he shouldn't have been out of fuel. Watch the RPMs here. 7,500. I don't know what happened there. I mean, that's it. And poor Hunter Rupp has no idea. I mean, let's go on board with him, the 00. I mean, he's going to have... he's running 8,300. He doesn't lift. He does a little bit. He's lifting 80, and then he just stops in front of him. I do not understand that. My goodness. Go ahead and reset the running order here if we can. We're still going to have one more pit stop. This has completely changed the complexion of this race. I don't even know who's going to get the lucky dog. That was... Yeah, I don't understand what Magnus is doing here, unfortunately. I mean, he turns back to the right, but I mean, he just... I don't know. That's tough. I just didn't look at it. Just kind of mindlessly drifting down into the lane. I mean, he's not a good chance. Let's take a look here. I do believe that gonna resort. They got some wave around guys. So yeah, a lot of people trying to risk it. Let's go. Spencer Burton is requesting an interview. Let's go take a look. Here with the newly formed Jenner Autosport, and what happened, Spencer? What are we upset about now?
Well, it's not me. I'm not racing.
Right.
But McQuiggan was crying about how he wanted an interview over his save that he had. He was like, I should be interviewed for save of the race. And like, the race ain't even over yet. Like, what are you talking about? We got 30 laps to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of
you in the
nonsense
back
left to happen. But yeah, y'all were fighting pretty hard for the top 7. Y'all threw away the advantage there, I saw, unfortunately.
I thought I was clear down. I was trying to get down before James got clear of me, so I wouldn't lose the pack, because I thought I would, and then yeah.
He doesn't have a set of ears or eyes.
No mere McNugget over here. Doesn't know what he's doing.
I will say, Blakely, you've been up front all day today. And you're looking pretty racy in that 36 machine.
I don't know if racy. I mean, everyone else is racy. I just been chilling.
Chillin gets you a top 10 at the worst for the first 2/3 of this race, so we'll see what the last third does now that everyone's back up front. Start to get crazy
Oh,
out
you
there.
had to say it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was a rough
Hey, y'all
caution,
can
but it
just
was a
yell.
much-needed caution for about half this field, so we're about to go crazy here, so I'm scared for y'all. I'm just saying, I already know how it's going to go.
Look,
Get too
man, I'm
experienced.
scared every time y'all join our call.
It's
Okay.
about to get crazy, boys. Well, what does DW say? Tighten down the strap? I don't even know.
Or
Button
as the
down,
people in
buckle.
ARS say.
Strap down the big TV and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, this is what the people in ARS say. Don't let the commentators join your chat, or you're probably gonna get wrecked.
Commentators curse. I didn't pick someone to win the race, so we're gonna have to do that real quick.
Well,
too.
don't pick any
Yeah,
of my
you gotta
drivers.
pick it.
We'll do
All
a
right, pick
live-
it. Tell us our.
Who's winning
tell
this
it.
race? Give me Alex Chira. He doesn't know me too well. He can't get mad if he wrecks.
Okay.
There you have it. I've made my pick. It's the 9 machine of Chira. He's been very clean and consistent all night. I hate to jinx him 2/3 of the way into the race, but that was the one thing I did not get to beforehand. We'll just see how it goes for him. Pace car is off. And Drew Joie gets us back underway. Green flag back in the air. Already a disjointed restart, though. Outside line, non-existent, led by none other than the recently talked to Jacob. Pretty wide already. If the urgency wasn't there before, it is now. 23 on the lead lap, back to Ryan Tiller, who did not catch the pack. He topped off on fuel. He might be trying to stretch it, but you're going to need a drafting partner to do so. Daniel Pendergrass is the first car 1 lap down. Brandon French, I believe, is 2 down. Thomas Green has parked it, as has Justin Johnson and Magnus Anderson after that last caution. We have 25 cars on track, 23 on the lead lap. Kevin Boley severely wounded, though, and Ryan Tiller does not have drafting help. But I'm surprised to see that we're already going back to this single file. I think everyone just come up a little bit short. It's a great point, Jade Owls. You know, people might be trying to stretch it, under yellow, and save the entire way. If you're a guy like Garrett Talmadge or Travis De Leon, you are tucked up nice in the middle of the pack. You don't have to use a whole lot of throttle. Drew Joie, there's absolutely no way you make it. So you're just kind of committed to one more stop. Blakely not finding any luck getting down in. Let's see if 10 will let him in. Looks like a gap is forming, and not 36 is right next to him. Stuck on that outside, all the way to the back if no one lets him in. Lost Justin Johnson. So Andrew Tiller, the only in-car reporter here. Not current. The checkups are, you can see the accordion effect on the inside line. All the 00 has to do is hold it wide open, so he will actually be able to maintain as long as there's those checkups and saving fuel, but he's still not going to be able to get in, which is obviously his biggest issue is he wants to save fuel. He has to go 100% throttle or he's going to go right in the back of his line. Big checkups. Oh, yellow is out further back in the field. We'll take a look at what happened. I believe this was Max Urek involved, Steven Valdala. Here, and yeah, we were just mentioning the accordion effect. Actually, that had nothing to do with the accordion effect. Oh, and I think that's Pinder going to get turned. Multiple car collision in the after effect. See here, does the 3 machine come down, facing down, just trying to move up? He thinks there's a hole there. it's very marginal at best, and maybe a tiny bit of net code, but that's forcing the issue there. And then the 3 machine hard into the wall. Pinder gets the worst of it. Back it up here. We got here Talman. Well, he can't go to the outside because Talman is there. Or excuse me, he can't go to the outside because he's the opponent. And then Jarrett Talman, no time to react, and no time for Travis Leon to react, and hard into the outside wall. As long as he keeps the right front on it, though, he has a shot, but that's heavy damage to the 17 machine. Looks on pit road now. That is good news for Pendergrass. Bad news for Pinder, so it's a net wash for the CMS boys. Everyone's coming down to top off. This will actually kind of make Fuel a moot point. Unless James Jimmy Fillers, Kyle Ritchie, Dylan Failvich, Alex Chira, and Jacob Blakely. Go talk to the CMS boys and the YJ Media Motorsports boys. They're all in the same voice channel. See if they're working together. It was CMS YJ, and unfortunately for Chris Pinder involved in our most recent caution, what was the damage like to the car?
Not at all. I got 2 minutes. I should be able to get most of the optional repairs done.
Oh, and the tow link was intact, huh?
We'll be in there. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Everything's in one piece.
A little bit
We're
of
still going to put
damage,
this to
but
a
yeah,
car in
man.
victory lane.
There you go. Still plenty of time to wreck and get more damage fixed as long as you're not in it. Hopefully that's the only incident tonight. But the CMS boys, for the pretty much up until now, working together, hanging out at the back, trying to avoid the chaos. But I imagine it's time to go to the front now.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Rock
Maybe we
and
did
roll.
it too soon there.
Getting close. Everybody's a little antsy right now, so.
We have one. I think that was Bola. He says time to go, and then the other's like, well, I don't know. You can go up there and wreck, but definitely a split strategy. We've seen that a couple times tonight. Let's talk to the other half of the guys in here. YJ Media Motorsports. Love you very much. Not biased at all. How we doing, fellas?
Good. How are you?
We good. Looks like you guys were pretty much consistent. Same thing. You were mostly in the second pack for those first couple of runs, and just
Holy shit.
and
Yeah.
just working together. But what's the game plan now that we're bunched up inside of third?
Evidently, stay off pit road because nobody can give and take on pit road, and there's been 3 spinouts on it. I don't know. I caught some damage off of there. It's pretty frustrating, but we're just gonna try to rock and roll, stay out of the air, stay on the track, finish the race.
Got a little bit of strategy too. Some of the guys at the front staying out, so it'll be interesting to see what the future.
Yeah, I got blacked and had to serve a penalty there and couldn't call it out because we were in interview.
All right, fellas.
No, you're good. Just like I said, hopefully stay out of any more situations. I got a 4X when I shouldn't have, but there goes my perfect race for the night. So we'll see what I can do.
Better than last season's debut. But good luck, fellas. Keep it all 4 wheels on the ground. That's
All right.
looks like we got to resort the running order here, and the guys topping off on fuel. Hey, what? Brandon French is not out of this. We'll have to get off pit road here pretty quick. But he's not out of it. He was, I think, almost 3 laps down at one point. Kevin Boley is getting more damage fixed to that car, as is Pinder, so they still might have a shot at this. So, really, 22, 23 cars still in contention. We'll see if Boley was able to get enough damage fixed to contend. Oh, we got 4 and 5 wide. They are trying to get this running order sorted out here. There's Brujois, not sure what. Yeah, got blinking cars. That's Hunter Rupp, and just I'm trying to avoid him. I don't know what that was all about. Pretty unhappy about that if you're Zach Almond. Things are heating up here. About 25 to go. Very clean race up to this point. Hopefully it stays that way, but seen a high number of tomfoolery and some shenanigans pick up. Now, French is 1 lap down in 25th, so he is sitting pretty. All he has to do is kind of stay out of trouble. More wreck. 25 cars. 26, Thomas Green is still out there, hoping to pick up a couple of points. Kyle Ritchie and James Jimmy Phillips back on the road. 6 laps to go. Still time to go. Time to stay back. CMS was pretty split. Let's see here. All bets are off, I imagine, for most of the field. Not going to let anybody in line. Only going to help your teammates, and even that has a limit. Pushing already pretty aggressive. The 88 and the 10 making a tandem block there on the 36 of Blakely. The 76 real far out in front. This gives new life. Is hanging in the draft, as is French. Kevin Bowles still not quite at a full race car yet. Zach Amen is pitting all by himself. That'll take him out of contention. We are in 25 laps to go, so final fuel window is right here. The top 5 have all stayed out. Not sure why. I guess they're just banking on more cautions and they just want to stay up front on these restarts, but if it goes green to the end, we could see the top 5 just throw away a very good shot at a win. All they had to do was pit with the rest of the field. They would have come out ahead anyways. Looks like it was just a stop for Zach Allman, just a regular old no penalty serving there. I don't know if he had auto fuel or what. All the way back down to Brandon Bowers' 20th. Hinder starting to drop off, but this is again by design. Look at that, working with Pendergrass and French and Thomas Green. They're thinking we get another wreck and have time to reset it. We got cars in the wall further back, 3 and 4 wide below the apron. Can they rejoin safely? It looks like they will. That's going to potentially get some guys caught off the pack. 3 wide with Casey Brown in the middle. They're going to have to get reorganized here. Still 2 wide. Balbala left out to dry. Hunter Rupp, 1.1 seconds back. He's got a great pusher in Drew Joie behind him. So I think it was a sketchy moment down the back straightaway. 2 cars working up top. It's Alex Chira and James Jimmy Fillers, but Kyle Ritchie continues to lead the way. If you're Kyle Ritchie, you probably don't want to lead all the way up to the white flag, because you're going to burn more fuel out in front. Hoping that somebody makes a run and you can sit second and pull out. It's bad news for Brandon French fans, as he is now no longer the lucky dog after what seemingly looked like a golden position to get back into this race. And he's got 7 seconds. He's in that pack, but obviously wasn't anticipating on a green flag pit stop by themselves. So Zach Allman, the lucky dog. 2 cars, 1 back and Kevin Boley. Kevin Boley's in danger of going another lap down if we don't get another yellow. Let's go again here, Andrew Tennell. On board here with the driver of the 45 machine. Here. He's going to the high side of the racetrack, trying to work with Sartaj, man, who's been absent most of the evening, but he's finally decided it's time to go. A nice job here. 2x2, not too aggressive just yet. Hamilton, pretty steady wheel there. Monster energy machine. Outside line of the surge down the back straightaway. This could be Kyle Ritchie's attempt at saving fuel. I think that's what it will end up being. That's going to make Alex Alex Chira, an aggressive move to the bottom, almost took James Jimmy Fillers into the field. As things are definitely starting to heat up. Andrew Chenel all the way up to P2. Outside line, definitely. Chenel trying to side draft. He's getting help from Nick Miller. And Sartaj Man leads for the first time today inside with 20 to go. Kyle Ritchie going to be able to save fuel now that he's back forward. Exactly what he wanted. See Dylan Failvich and Jacob Blakely also dropping back. The only one pushing the issue is James Jimmy Fillers and Alex Chira. Those are the guys that also stopped on lap 65. They're not really saving at the moment. On one more yellow. Panel gets a little high at 4. That'll put him 3 wide. Nick Miller inside, but Jonathan Dolly to help his teammate, so we'll have 3x3 for the first time tonight. Even if it is brief, 4 cars in the middle line inside. Dominant. Dolly, I think, got a piece of the wall there, and he's going to have to drop out of it. Up a little bit, and Nick Miller, known for his racecraft and ability to make quick moves, thought nothing of it, moved to the inside, 3x3, and then put himself first on that outside line now that is reformed around Tenold. Bourgeois did get this second group back up in the mix, so it is 18 cars battling away for the race win at the moment. We have crossing the line will be 18 laps to go. In the TGR eSports 250. Hearing from Justin Johnson in the driver's chat that he was hit by Zach Amon, his teammate, and it gave him some required damage, and then it just gave up on him entering turn number 3, if you remember. That was Hunter Rupp driving into the back of him. Unfortunately, 36 of Blakely taking a peek there. Got his teammate lined up behind him. Outside line now surging ahead again with Nick Miller. 17 to go this time by. Outside line has 3 cars clear if they want to drop down. Outside line was Sartaj Man. Now it's James Jimmy Fillers. Now Nick Miller and Blakely come down. Sartaj Man coming down. Interrupt staying up, and everyone switching back and forth, trying to get in the fast line. He was a factor for a good early portion of this race. He's still hanging out. Chris Pinder, Steven Valdala, and William Bowman still committing to their strategy of waiting for that last wreck, hopefully taking out some cars, thinning the field, and they'll pick up the pieces and move forward right at the end of this thing. 8 cars now, and then Alex Chira. Zach Amon's still up there, but that is not for position. He wants to be the lucky dog. If he can, not have to start at the tail end of the field, so we'll see if he races this pretty aggressively, trying to get to the front of this field. But he is the lucky dog candidate now, and he's got 15 seconds to Brandon French, so maybe you consider dropping to the tail end of this line, because if you get any incidents, then you're not the lucky dog candidate anymore, and the only other way to get it is driving to the front of the field, so it's interesting to see how Omni plays it. But they're getting single file again. Right here with 15 laps to go. Kind of settling into it. All the way back to 18th, and Ryan Tiller, 2.5 seconds separates first from 18th. Randy Arms has connected. He just barely missed the green flag. 21 cars on the lead lap, 2 cars 1 lap down. Pendergrass has actually gotten around French for that what would be next up if Amon races his way out to the front of the field. Right now, he is, I think, the 8th car in line. Right now, this is the eye of the storm, I'd have to guess. There's no way that you see it be like this to the end. And how about Randy Arms? He's going to come out there. He's guaranteed to finish dead last, but he's got a clean race. He hasn't done anything wrong. I just lost power, so why not get out there and help your teammates? He's a clean racer, so there shouldn't be any issues there. That's extra reinforcements for Ryan Tiller and Casey Brown. 13 to go. When do they make the move? This is how we see it play out all the time. You hear Darrell Waltrip and Dale Jr. and all the commentators. When do you make the move? When do you want to be in the catbird seat? You want to be chasing him down? He's my pick to win. A lot can happen. He's just now completing his first lap of the season. And that 8 machine, well done to Randy. I mean, if that's not perseverance, and that doesn't tell you what we have going here, or someone wants to join the race after 85 laps, I don't know what will. Sartaj, man, running 30 always brings some good-looking cars to the track, and it is still 18. Oh, Ryan Tiller has lost the draft with all of that. It's 17 cars now. It's like Kevin Boley had a moment. He was just staying out of the way of the lead, so yeah, that was just by design. Taking all possible precautions. Continuing. The lead's got Drew Joie in tow. That's not going to last. Drew will make a move. His teammate's down in 6th, so a little bit of separation there. Artaj Mann and Nick Miller, teammates. They'll try and work together if they can. Kevin Boley is on pit road, so Pendergrass is still ahead of Brandon French, and Zach Amon still is the lucky dog. The goal is to finish the race, and Randy Arms will do that here tonight. He'll secure a 29th place finish by about 50-something laps, maybe 48 laps or so. We are about to hit that 10 to go bubble. Go ahead and show you the last time everyone was on pit road. Top 5, all lap 72, 6th, 7th, and 8th, lap 65. So that's where we're going to look for some guys to potentially run out of fuel. And they're all going to come down anyways, just to be safe. That is not something that I expected. And that is completely changed the complexion of this race. I thought they were going to try and stretch it, but they are going to go ahead and, with 10 laps to go, fuel only. And who can win the race off of pit road? This is completely changed the dynamic. Someone's thrown the race away a little bit further back. I believe that is Jacob Blakely. And the winner of the race off of pit road is Drew Joie. Now Blakely missed his box, and he might be out of this thing. My goodness. Right at the end of it, a sudden green flag pit stop. Does anyone else try and stretch it? What about these 5? It looks like Casey Brown. Billers is going to pit by himself. Some guys were definitely taken by surprise here. Andrew Tennell leads the race. Your top 4 stay out on the racetrack. Lap 72. Came down and pitted. Had a couple caution laps, but I don't know how they're going to be able to make it what would be 28 laps with some caution. But you have 17 seconds. You can back this all the way up. You can settle it between these 4. All you got to do is go into huge fuel conservation mode. That might be what Brandon Bowers is doing. He says, Donald, I'm going to push you all the way. You milk all this fuel for me. We're just going to save, save, save. You lead us to glory. And you settle it between 3 cars. Same thing here. Pinder, William Bowman, Steven Valdala, and Ryan Tiller. They're trying to steal good finishes. And everyone back here, they feel like they might be hoodwinked. this has completely changed the complexion of the TGR eSports 250. Going to be 7 laps to go. Go on board here with Brandon Bowers. Doesn't seem to be lifting too much. They don't really seem to care. They're running about 47 flats, and they're coming in anyway, so no, they're not going to try and save. These guys let to do this second group, never mind. 28 laps was too much to ask. The most we had tonight was 25. This is another 4-car group. What do? No one came down. The last opportunity, and they will come down and give up the track position. Hunter Rupp will take over the lead of the race. I think you stay out there, especially if you were the second group, and try and bank on a caution from this group trying to catch you guys. I think that would have been a, you know, first race of the season. Why not? Casey Brown wins the race off pit road. Actually, it's Bowers, excuse me. And they are not going to be caught up in time. Yeah, if you're pitting with 8 to go, there's no shot. And Bowers won't be able to get caught up. It's going to be 4 cars to settle this thing. It's Hunter Rupp, Nick Miller, Sartaj Man, and Drew Joie. Second and third are teammates. You got to like their odds. It is getting down to the nitty-gritty here. It'll be 6 to go. Bowers, Quiggin, they're going to just blow on by Bowers here. As long as they don't wreck each other going up the hill. He's got no shot to defend. The next major pack, this is it. This is 4 cars, 4 seconds back of another 4 cars. So, I mean, really, it's 4 cars. You're not going to catch them. This is the group that did the best on pit road. 26 seconds on pit lane for Hunter Rupp, and it gets him the lead. But he's got no help. He's got no teammates behind him. He's got teammates on a different team working against him. You know this 49 and this 19 will work together. Jonathan Dolly stays low. Hunter Rupp started 8th, currently 1st. I do not like his odds. I think Drew Joie might come out and do the opposite of last year. I think that this 0-0 will throw a block on the teammates and Drew goes right through the door. But we'll see. They have 4 seconds. It's stable at 4 seconds. They're not going to catch him. 4th to 8th. 9th all the way to 13th. Jacob Blakely was in the lead pack. He threw it away. Travis DeLeon all by himself. Casey Brown is in again. And Steven Valdala by himself. Dolly by himself. With the lead group, though, so this will change things depending on who he decides to work with. He's allowed to merge in with this pack, so let's see. He's also fighting for a lucky dog. Casey Brown back out on the racetrack. Dolly's the first car 1 lap down. If he can somehow find a way in front, he doesn't have to start at the tail end of the field if we get a late wreck, but it's unlikely. He'll just sit there and take the lucky dog position, but that's going to go away quickly with Valdala, so he just needs to somehow get ahead of Valdala when he gets lapped. They're probably in about 2 to 3 laps. That will be quickly approaching, though. We're at the tail end of this race, so how will lap traffic impact this? You see, there's going to be 2 cars they have to get through. It's going to be Valdala, and I believe it's another one of the lap cars. French, actually. Brandon French, then Valdala. So those are the 2 cars. I think French has been pretty respectful, so I don't think he'll interact too much with the leaders. But Valdala is going to have to be fighting Jonathan Dolly here for a late lucky dog, if it happens, but they both stay high. Very respectful of the 2 machine. We are coming to 2 laps to go. You can see Nick Miller getting a little aggressive there, trying to get him to, if he can get that 0-0 far out in front, he backs up to his teammate, and they sail right around him. Here they come to Steve Zavala, watch the battle for the lucky dog. How aggressive does the 3 try and get down in line? Because that is the battle for the lucky dog. He'll have to fall in. And he'll do so. Well, he's going to wait for French to go on by. That'll hurt his chances of a lucky dog. So if you're Jonathan Dolly, just maintain that spot. And if they wreck in the next couple hundred yards, you're back in contention. But I don't think they're going to do it. It's 4 cars to settle it. 5 if Dolly decides to be a factor. Hunter Rupp will lead at the line. Race is official. You see Miller getting him really far out in front. He's going to back up to his teammate here in the 49. And they're going to sail on by him down the back straightaway. He might even wait till turn 3 to do it. He has the help. Look, he's going to get off of him. And let's see. Oh, the 49 going to go. They're going to make their move. And the 49 going to go low on Nick Miller. But Drew's going with Miller, shoving him down the back straightaway. Hunter Rupp can't cover it. Got to get down to pick up the bump from the 49. And now it's all about who you can push. Where does Jonathan Dolly end up? Nick Miller with help from Drew Jawah. Hunter Rupp with help from Sartaj Man coming to the line out of turn number 4. The side draft is in effect, beaten and banging at the line. Nick Miller into the wall. Who's going to steal? It's going to be Sartaj Man. No, it's Nick Miller. I think it's Nick Miller. It's almost a statistical tie. I have no idea. We gotta check. It's Nick Miller by 8/1000ths of a second. Your Season 1 champion gets it done. What a finish. Take another look at this. I thought Hunter Rupp had it. I thought Sartaj Man had it at the line. My goodness, Drew Jawah with a heck of a shove. Take a better look at this. Here we go. Blow it down. Coming to the line, he gets a little squirrely. It's not a square hit. This is when I think Hunter Rupp can make the move. They're both in the wall. And then here comes Sartaj. Man, I think he's flying through at the end. And there's your finish. 4 wide at the line. My goodness, what a race, what a finish, what a way to kick off Season 2. Your Season 1 champion picking up right where he left off. I mean, that is as good as it gets. It's a great shot here. I thought Miller was done. He just, look at the bump here. The 49 gets into Rupp, gets into Drew, gets into Miller. I think he's done. The momentum's gone, and it wasn't. Oh my goodness. How in the world did Nick Miller maintain enough momentum and come across the line first? I thought it was Sartaj Man at the line. I thought he had the momentum. If it was Talladega, Sartaj Man would be your race winner, but man, oh man. That's as good as it gets, and Casey Brown gonna cost me some repair money there. Look at this here. Rupp gets hit up a little bit. Oh my goodness. That's as good as it gets. No one wrecked. Take you down the back straightaway here. I thought Sartaj Man was going to go. Does not go with his teammate, and that opened up everything. That really changed the complexion. I thought that we would have just a tri-racial 1-2. We ended up with that, but in a much different manner. Jonathan Dolly he's staying out of the way, just he's pushing this low line, whatever. Doesn't directly interfere. He goes up, gives them a little bit. He almost ends up pushing 49 to win. And what a last lap. Got people in the broadcast waiting room, so we'll go ahead and get them in here. Just a fantastic finish here this evening. here with your race one winner, Nick Miller, picking up where he left off from his championship season in season 1. I didn't think you had it at the line. How the heck did you maintain enough momentum coming up through the trioval to win that race?
I really don't know. I hit the wall right before the line trying to get away from the side draft, so I thought me hitting the wall was going to get stuck. And either Drew or Sartaj or whoever was there, we were like 4 wide. Whoever was there, I thought else was going to win it. But we barely pulled it off.
Yeah, Hunter Rupp got hit into Drew from Sartaj, and then Drew hit you into the wall, and it was 4 wide at the line. And then I thought Sartaj was flying through. It took it. That's who I called to win it. I look up, and I think it's 8/1000ths of a second. I mean, that's 4 wide at the line, and you can't really argue with that. Just an absolutely incredible finish and strong defense to your title season.
Yeah, I mean, going to Daytona, obviously, it's not too much skill. I mean, there's, I guess, a little bit with like the whole draft and whatnot. But really, it's kind of like a luck race, and we were able to pull it off. Racing wise, it was pretty good. A little boring at times just because we got strung out. But I mean, that's kind of what you would expect if a race goes green here at Daytona. It's going to get strung out.
Yeah, and then really, like you said, it's a lot of luck, avoiding the big ones. We didn't really have too many of that, which is a testament to the ideas, the next gen guys being the best of the best. And we had some green flag pit stops, and the guys that practiced that or knew what they were doing, they came out ahead time and time again, and it definitely was a heck of a race. The guys that worked well together, they came through at the end of this thing.
Yeah, I'm looking back at it. I definitely didn't have to put myself into the wall.
It made for the excitement. They just, upped the drama factor a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a heck of a race. I mean, seriously, photo finish. Absolutely amazing effort. Couldn't kicked off the season any better.
Oh yeah, for sure. Where are we at next week? Phoenix, right?
I don't want to confirm anything just yet. Probably know this. But we are at Phoenix next week, 125 laps, and entirely different ball game there. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hopefully it's hot and slick, which I'm doubting a lot. But it's all right. It's the next gen. It never handles how you want it to handle. It seems like in these cars. So we'll be ready.
Well, congratulations again on a fantastic, thrilling win. We'll let you get any final shout-outs that you have in for the broadcast.
Yep, just want to thank the guys I just worked with there for the last 100 laps. Or Hunter Rupp, Max, Sartaj, Drew, Almond, Justin, all those guys. The team, as always, just for like the Road to Pro stuff. And for this league, Triracial Racing, because, I think that's the team I'm on now. I don't really know.
Signing. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I think I'm on that team.
Yeah.
And last but not least, hashtag free Mark. He should not be in the truck series, man. Bring him back.
Yeah, you replaced him, but yeah, good times, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Phoenix.
Yep, see ya. Thank you.
Like Mark said,
sorry about that. Is we just do it live, but it'll catch me out one of these days, I promise. But Sartaj, man, I thought you had that son of a gun. You got a great push there from Dolly at the end. Made a great move on the back straightaway. I thought you were going to work with Nick. You didn't. No team orders there for Triracial, definitely. And I really thought you had it. The momentum was with you. Nick was in the wall, beating and banging. It was 4 wide and 8/1000ths of a second otherwise.
Funny story. That was actually all 4 of us working together.
Right.
The top 4, all 4 of us. Yeah, I mean, we at one point we were like, should we just let Hunter Rupp win? But we were like, we're gonna give him a little bit of challenge, We're gonna race this thing out. I made the move on the backstretch. I was like, let's see if I can catch Nick off, and I couldn't. So I went straight back to the bottom. I thought Drew was gonna come with me, but he went to the top. So I was like, okay, I just gotta. At that point, I was thinking, let me help, Rupp, let me push him to the win at that point because there's no way for me. And then pretty much I was just yelling at him on the front stretch, side draft Nick, side draft him. And Yeah, he got put in the wall.
Yeah, right
And
at the
I got a
last
big push from
second,
Dolly.
it opened up. Right at that last couple.
I was like, wait, who? I didn't know who won until like way
No.
after. I had no clue.
I was just as lost in the broadcast booth, but yeah, 4 guy. I mean, you excelled. I thought somebody was gonna try and stretch it, but it was a little too far on fuel. The green flag pit stops, it caught some people off guard, definitely. And you were the 4 that made it work, and you put yourself in
Yeah.
contention for the win.
But funny story. The reason, like at the start, you might have realized I was 2 laps down. Like I had just landed from a flight, like probably like 40 minutes before
Oh
that.
my goodness!
So
I hope you weren't flying out of Atlanta.
No, San Jose. So gladly not out of Atlanta. But yeah, I mean, we thugged it out and got second, and thankfully, I mean, obviously one of us were gonna win after the pit stop. So yeah, I mean, great race for all of us.
We're just hoping for no caution at the end. Didn't get it, and you settled it amongst yourselves. So
yeah,
8/1000ths of a second runner-up, but definitely a great way to start the season at the wild card tracks for sure.
100%.
Well, congratulations on a strong effort again here tonight, picking up where you left off last season for sure. We'll let you get any final shout-outs that you got in.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Nick Miller, Hunter Rupp, Drew Juam, Max Urick, and Zach Alman for just working together that race. It was fun.
Well, congratulations again. I look forward to seeing you next week at Phoenix.
Yep.
Yeah, he 2 laps down to second, almost worse to first. I was hoping Randy Arms could pull something off there at the end, but it didn't quite happen. Do we have Hunter Rupp? We do. Didn't see him there. Here with the 0-0 of Hunter Rupp up front all night long, clean on pit road, and had a shot at the end. What was your idea going down the back straightaway when you saw all the moves being made behind you?
Yeah, I was honestly just happy I'd made it through the last like 99 laps without really being in anything. So I was fine with wherever it was going to take me. It was nice to be in a position for the win. Obviously, mismanaged it a bit, just didn't know who to block there at the end. But solid little run. I'll take 3rd place any day after that kind of day. So
And ended up 4 wide, so really you can't block all the lanes. But it was so close between the 4 of you. Any one of you guys could have won it with just a different push here or there, but. It was a heck of a finish. You guys should be proud of that, and definitely made yourself known that you'll be up front. You work well together with others, and you're solid on green flag pit stops at these plate tracks.
yeah, I had a fun time. It was nice and clean, which is a nice change of pace for these plate races.
Really, green flag pit stops and just kind of getting yourself a little bit of strategy wise, not so much of the 3x3 gridlock. So definitely was a change of pace, and it provided for a thrilling finish. So. Hope to see this more often, honestly.
Yep.
But congratulations again on a solid 3rd place finish tonight. Got any final shout-outs?
Just the usual Supreme Motorsports, Paints by Max, all the boys, Tri-Racer Racing, all of them. Just love them to death. It was a great day out there.
Really well. Congratulations again. I look forward to seeing you back next week at Phoenix.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, who we got? We'll go ahead and get Andrew Tenold. Here with Andrew Tenold, the 45, TGR, eSports. Came home 12th tonight, exactly where you started. Kind of a drama-free race for these plate races. And it was more so just being good on pit road. And I know you guys had made a late pit stop. Was there any thought in your mind whether to try and stay out and save fuel heavy, or was it a couple laps short there?
Oh, we were for sure short on fuel. It was, I think we were like 3 laps short. And I led 1 lap, and then Fillers was right behind me. And then what really messed up our pit strategy was what happened with Dolly coming into the final pit stop. I'm actually just looking at it right here. He got loose, and then it's kind of spooked me a little bit. So once that happened, we kind of lost our mojo. And then the field just blew by, and I had nothing I could do. It was me and I think it was Bowers. We tried getting around to at least get a top 10, and that just didn't work out. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We had a solid night. We had 1 goal, and that was to survive the race, and that's what we did. And I don't know. We finished.
Yeah, it was definitely a different style of plate racing, not able to take advantage of the teamwork per se. It was more so just, being clean on green flag pit stops, and that's not something that obviously everyone practices week in and week out.
Right.
It was just a different style of racing than what we're used to seeing out there on these plate tracks
yeah.
tonight.
I'm still taking pictures for the league and the social media, but yeah, I think we only had like 2 or 3 yellows, and as a league, that we've come really far. I mean, I think last season at Daytona, the season opener, we had like 4 or 5, maybe 6. I don't know how many we had. We had a lot, but it's way better. And I mean, everybody raced with respect, and the ARS did a really good job with the demotion promotion thing. I mean, it shows. We only had what? How many yellows did we have?
Either 2 or 3, but like you said, completely agree. The next
Right.
gen and next up series, completely different ball game, the best of the best,
Right.
and making guys earn their spots. And it was a different style of a race tonight, and we had a 4 wide finish for the win. So already
Yeah,
paying dividends in race number 1.
I saw that. That was amazing, and congrats to Nick Miller for winning. We'll be sure to shout him out on our social media. But yeah, I don't know. We had a really fast 45 Monster Energy Chevrolet. Obviously, I played the part today. I don't know. We had fun. Do wish Devin was here. I know he's at a concert right now, a Disturbed concert. So I don't know if he's
Ooh.
having more fun or less fun than us. So it's kind of a 50-50. But yeah, we're definitely. I feel like this race. Oh, I guess if you look back at last season, we Daytona after Daytona, it was just a snowball effect of just wrecks after wrecks and just bad luck. But I mean, you've seen it in real life racing. One good weekend and our per se one good week, it can really turn your whole season around and your whole outlook on racing. I think Daytona after this, granted we didn't win. We're contenders for this year. I guarantee it, or I guess
Absolutely.
this season. But yeah, I don't know.
Appreciate you guys though, obviously coming on board for the race sponsorship as well. Always a good time, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week at Phoenix.
For sure, we will be sponsoring more races. We want to
Sure.
do both because there's 2 different ways you can give money. Is you can donate money to the league, so it pays the bills for the league, or you can do the foundation. And we're gonna do a bit of both. So this isn't the last time that you're gonna see us as a race sponsor. So
Yes, yes. You're also welcome for the season sponsorship.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got your little logo on our
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
tonight. So
well, yeah. Shout out to Trinity PC. If you need a
Yes.
pre-built PC to get on track with us, hit up Jonathan Dolly and Trinity PC. Oh, as well as Devin Galvin.
Yes, yes.
appreciate it, fellas. Look forward to seeing you next week at Phoenix.
For sure, we'll see you.
Yep.
Drujua, I got a copy.
Yeah.
No teammates in this race tonight, like we're used to seeing, but you always find people to work with pretty well. You were back and forth, front, back, and able to get up to the lead pack a couple of times after getting cycled out on those earlier runs, and then you were 4 wide at the finish. What did you see out there coming to the line?
Yeah, like you said, we came to the field a couple times. We had the speed, and I don't know what was different compared to last year, but I just struggled to push people. I don't know if it was like weather or something changed. I mean, I couldn't really get hooked up with a decent amount of people, and that was kind of frustrating. But we put ourselves in position there. Kind of just trying to find a way through, but I didn't really want to wreck anybody there because I was working with those three. I mean, we had a really good finish for the win. Saw Nick beat Sartaj by 8/1000ths. So we'll take a 4th place. It's definitely better than last season where we wrecked on the last lap. I think no, I don't remember where I finished. Maybe 2nd.
No, you were wrecked down the back straightaway last season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But, at least we got to the line this time, but I definitely wasn't the best this race. I don't know if that first wreck was my fault. It kind of seemed like me and Jared just met in the middle. I know I forced a 3, but curious to see if I get an at fault for that. Might protest if I do. But I do gotta apologize for Zach. To Zach Ahmed. Kind of unintentionally took him out and gave him a meatball in 11 seconds, and he never really came back from it. So, gotta apologize to him. But yeah.
Like I said, a solid result, and looking forward to seeing you back next week at Phoenix.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope. I don't know. Kind of drove over my head, and stuff happens. But overall, fun race. Shout out to you in the broadcast booth. I don't know if you hadn't heard or not tonight. I didn't really see him, but Go on to Phoenix and try not to be a wrecking ball, I guess.
Well, looking forward to seeing you next week. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Here with the CMS boys, and William Bowman leads home that charge in the 15th position. You just didn't get that late race caution to get caught back up finally. The fuel strategy played out a little bit differently, but at least you guys brought the cars home in one piece tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, got lucky with 15th, I think I'll even say. And had an issue. Pack checked up at one point, and I got hit in the rear, and that put me off the racetrack, and that's how I ended up losing the front pack's draft
I'd
there
say-
at the end. And so
I'd say
it is
tonight
what
we
it
saw
is.
a different style of racing, with the next gen and the next up. It's like the best of the best, and I think we saw that on display tonight with a different style of plate racing. A lot of single file and just trying to execute on pit road and not so
Yep.
much of that gridlock.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way. So, it was a tough race.
Kevin, I know you were involved. I think in probably the hardest crash of the night. We only had 2 or 3, but you were unfortunately right hooked. What did you see, cockpit? I don't think you hung it.
He just came down, just pit maneuvered me right in the wall, but sucked too because there's 24 laps left. Running 15th, 13th. I thought I was going to be good to go, but nope.
But at least tonight, I know it didn't work out in your favor just strategy-wise, but you showed that you guys were, again, clean and consistent, and you work well together. You just need a break here or there. We play tracks anyways. Just played it a little differently tonight.
Exactly.
Yes, sir, it did.
But always a pleasure, fellas, and look forward to seeing you guys next week at Phoenix.
All right, Mo. Thanks a lot.
Admin chat, how we doing?
I finished. I didn't give up.
Randy Arms did 14 laps here tonight. Gotta give him the Perseverance Award for the whole
Yes.
season. You can go ahead and shut that down now.
He's my hero.
He really is. That.
I just want to give a shout out to the guys working on the power to get my power back on, even though I work for the said power company.
It's just your own fault. You weren't here tonight for 80% of the race, but yeah. But yeah,
How was it, man?
It was fantastic. We were going to be sending that 4-wide finish to iRacing top 10. We had a not top 10 clip. Now we're getting the top 10 clip because that was a heck of a finish.
It was.
No one won the Air Taco Award. Everyone stayed on the ground. So Ryan Tiller still have a wait to give that one away. But yeah, I cannot complain with how this race went.
Yeah, I'm just happy to finish on all 4 tires and on the lead lap, and even in the top 20, I guess.
Yeah,
especially how the race went. For me, at least.
Yeah, I've mentioned it to the other teams, but definitely a different style of racing than what we normally see at these plate tracks, and that's I would imagine in part to the next gen and the next up. We got the top of the top, the best of the best here, and it went green for vast portion of this race.
Oh yeah, it's as somebody racing in the league, last year and obviously this year, definitely want to see that clean racing go all year. Respectful racing, maintain itself, and be good competitive fun throughout the season. It'd be nice to see. Like to see it in the first race too. It was good.
Art, are you live?
Nope.
There he is. There's my fearless
Hey,
co-commentator.
I know how to get him. I know how to wake him up.
There's no fear. I can't have it right now.
Hate to see it.
I have to go get it.
Yeah, I think the promotion demotion system is playing out nicely. We do have 3 at faults so far this race, pending any protests, and yeah, man, I think this is going to work out well. I think a lot of people are being very cautious. They don't want to get early on that demotion list early on in the season, and I think it's going to go really well.
Really well. A great start to season 2, and looking forward to next week at Phoenix for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, I never get a chance to give shout outs. Can I give a couple shout outs?
Yes, you can.
Oh, sweet. Hey, big shout out to Nick Kelly for coming in from ILF, giving us an awesome interview. He's going to be in the Discord for the unforeseeable future. So if anybody has any questions about ILF, feel free to just tag him. His name's going to be Rev3 Dude, DOOD. He'll be in there. Shout out to Trinity PC for doing the sponsorship, TGR eSports for sponsoring Daytona, and then another big shout out to Pinder Construction, who is hooking up with a sponsorship deal right now. So a lot of good things coming this season, man, and I'm looking forward to getting that funds raised to where we have that overflow that we can just dump into ILF this season. So it's going to be an amazing time, and I couldn't be more proud of these drivers and this team that we have.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more, and looking forward to it, and seeing what you guys do on Wednesday night, kicking off the Next Up series. So be sure to tune in that as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's going to be chaos.
Hey, do you think I could go on one of those busts one time? How do you sign up for that?
Bus?
Bust, BUST.
Oh man. Oh, so interestingly enough, ILF said they're not in the vigilante portion of the business.
What?
They get everything together and then they give it to the authorities to go do the actual
oh man,
the big stuff, you know.
Damn it.
Travis wanted to go on a raid.
I'm trying to raid.
I know.
I know we were working a shout out to you as well, Max. Great job on the broadcast. Art, I know you had some things come up, man. Max, you held yourself really well up there by yourself. Take a tall glass of water or something. I know you've been talking for the past 2 hours.
I didn't even realize it. But yeah, Art, I'm keeping the whole proceeds for this. I think. All right.
No.
And last but certainly not least, Yenner Autosport, newly formed team for the next gen season. Jacob Blakely and Magnus Anderson, two kind of opposite nights. Blakely was up in contention all night, and just kind of missed his box in the last stop, and that's probably what kept you from being in contention for the end.
I don't want to hear
it. No, I'm so sorry. I didn't pick you to win. I didn't jinx you. That was all your own doing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's yeah. What's next week? Phoenix. All right, got it.
Yeah, Phoenix.
Great.
Go ahead. You might as well get started. It's a long drive out there, but nevertheless, I mean, you showed you were a contender and you worked well with others. I expect to see you up there at these plate races. Now you can keep it clean and consistent on some of the more normal tracks.
Yeah, it was fun working with Nick A there on the outside lane. I don't even know how many cars were behind us, but I think it was like 3 of us on that top lane, and we absolutely just rolled to the front.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, it was a clean race. Everyone did a nice job tonight.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised by that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for a caution at the end, you know,
I
because
think a lot of people were for a lot of the time.
Choking them, you know.
Did different kind of plate racing than what we're used to, honestly. No 3x4.
Yeah, that was way different from last year, and I wasn't even in last year's, but I watched it and spotted for it, and that was different.
Had to be good in pit road rather than just the drafting part. But excited to see the rest of the season play out, and can't wait to get to Phoenix.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, fellas. Well, seeing you there.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, we can close the book on interviews tonight. Art, you didn't watch. I'm sure you watched the race.
I actually didn't watch. The finish was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Like, hopefully that is not it's top 10 worthy, not top 10.
Right. Yeah, amazing finish. Got a great charity we're supporting this season, and got a great group of drivers, great league, good stuff in place. More to be announced soon, and just looking forward to it all. Can't wait to be part of season 2. It is underway. Go ahead and take one more quick look here at your race results this evening, and we'll go ahead and get out of here. There it is. Don't need the race information because the race is over. But Nick Miller, 8 1/1000ths of a second, 15 hundredths of a second over Hunter Rupp in Drujua, 47 hundredths of a second, 4 cars to settle it, and it was just as exciting had there been 40 cars to settle it. A different style of racing tonight, but just as entertaining. Ryan Tiller, last car on the lead lap, and then further down through the field to Randy Arms in 29th. Perseverance Award of the Year. We'll be back here tomorrow night, LSRL. They get ready to close out their regular season. The ARS Affinity Racing Series next up gets ready to rock and roll on Wednesday. Keep an eye on that for the stars of the Next Gen series. Hopefully, take their first steps in getting promoted. And then this Friday night, Rodcar 87s at Talladega. Be sure to tune in for all that, and we will see you back here tomorrow night. Y'all take